Anna. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I'm here with Neat and Tangled, and I'm going to be sharing with you a card featuring some of the new products from May's release. So let's get started and check it out. Here I've got the Stitch Starburst and the Fractal Cloud stamps and dies. I'm going to be using these today in my card. We're going to be creating a freestyle watercolor card where we're not going to be worrying about how perfect the watercoloring is and that kind of thing. We're going to go with the flow. So I'm going to start first by die cutting the Stitched Starburst, the stitching piece, into some watercolor paper. I'm also going to die cut the Starburst from some watercolor paper as well. I'm going to remove the Stitched Starburst and I'm going to line this up over top of the Starburst that we created. And I found the best way to do this is to match up these 4 small little rays with the cluster of 4 little stitching rays on the other die. And that helps you line this up perfectly, so that way you make sure that you get the stitching right in the middle of all of these little rays. Now I've got my Winsor & Newton watercolors here, and I'm going to be doing some really loose freehand watercoloring on these cards. I'm not going to be worried about being perfect. I want this to look very organic and very loose and free-formed. So I'm just dropping color and patting it all over my card panel here around this little starburst. I'm going to be using this as a sun. So I'm just going to go ahead and flick water on, move the paint all over the place, and just really have fun with it. I'll pick up that little drop of water there, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry this. And drying this is going to give this water a chance to bleach the watercolor that we have on our card panel here. And this is going to create some really fun effects. Watercolors have a tendency to be able to react with water very easily, just like distress inks, but not quite as intense. But you can see here that you get this really great water spot effect. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to take more of this yellow paint and I'm going to just start dabbing more of it on. I'm creating a multi-layer here. And this is going to help give this watercoloring some texture and just a lot of really cool interest. I'll dry this layer once again. And once I have that dry, I'm going to go ahead and attach my little starburst, or in this case my sun, over top of this watercolor area. Now this looks kind of funny at first because you're thinking, well, we already did all the watercoloring, why are we putting a white piece on top? Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this. Once I have this glued down, I'm going to go ahead and start watercoloring over top of this. And this is going to create a really fun and interesting look to our sun and to the sky. It's really going to add to the organic and really cool textured effect of this card. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this until it's completely dry. Once I have this dry, I'm going to go ahead and take a square die from Spellbinders, and I'm going to run this through my Bake Shop machine. This die set actually has 2 different types of dies. It has the dies that cut the squares, but then it also has some dies that go with it that nest inside that create some piercing designs into the paper. So I'm going to be using that piece here, and I'm going to nest that inside my rectangle, and then I'll run that through my Bake Shop machine as well. Once I have that die cut, I'm going to move on to creating my clouds. I'm going to take more of my Winsor & Newton watercolors and start adding some blue onto this scrap of watercolor paper. Like I did with the sun, I'm going to go ahead and just dab this color all over the place, really loose and free-formed, and I'm just letting the water and the paint mix together to create a really fun, organic background. I'm letting some of the brush ends create a dry brush effect, and I'm just going to keep doing this until I have the entire background covered with this blue paint. Once I finished painting, I dried it with my heat tool and die cut them using one of the cloud dies that are included in the Fractal Cloud set. I'm going to take some more scrapped watercolor paper here and attach it to some stick-it sheets. I'm going to trim this out so that way I can use the leftover pieces and the scraps for another project. Those little tiny scraps do come in handy, and I save all of them. This stick-it sheet has adhesive on both sides. The brown piece is the area that we lifted off to expose the adhesive and attach our watercolor paper to. And that side where you have the text, that is the other side of the sticky, and you will remove that once we finish die cutting. So here I'm going to run this Fractal Cloud die through my Bake Shop machine with the stick-it sheets. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my craft pick to go ahead and remove all of the little insides of this die. Now you could save these and create some really fun projects using negatives, but I'm not going to be doing that here, so I'm just going to throw these out, especially since they have the adhesive on there. It's not going to be easy to try to keep them. So once I have that all removed, I'm going to go ahead and attach these down onto my clouds. Sorry about my head. These sticky backed clouds are really great because I didn't have to worry about trying to add glue to all those tiny little areas of those clouds. Really, really handy. So now I'm going to go ahead and take some more of my Winsor & Newton paints, and I'm going to go right over top of these clouds just like I did with the sun. And I'm just going to add some blue paint in just some areas, and I'm letting that pool inside of the cloud really creates a fun effect. And I'll go ahead and layer these onto my card here, as you can see. First, I'm going to do my sentiment though, which I'm going to be using the coordinating stamp set for the Fractal Cloud set. So I'm going to ink this up with some black Simon Says Stamp dye ink, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right down onto that corner of my card. This is the word showers. I'm going to be pairing this up with some of the smaller sentiments that are included in this stamp set. Here I've got the word God, and I'm going to stamp that with some soft granite Hero Arts ink, and I'm going to stamp the us with his love in some more of that ink. And this is going to end up reading God showers us with his love. Really great encouragement card, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down. And then once I have that stamped down, I'm going to take my glossy accents. You can use any liquid glue you want. I've die cut a little heart that I've just painted with some red watercolors. And I'm going to go ahead and glue my little clouds down as well using the glossy accents. To finish up my card, I'm going to go ahead and attach it down to a yellow cardstock base using some double-sided adhesive. I'm just going to make a quick little X right in the center, and that's going to hold it down nicely. This is really strong double-sided tape, so I'm not worried about having the entire thing covered. I'll remove the backing, then I'll go ahead and lay my panel right on top. And because this card was so quick to make, I ended up making a total of 2 of them. Really, really fun, and I love how these bright colors and the fun organic look of the watercoloring really gives this card a really fun look. So I hope you've enjoyed and got some inspiration on using some of the new stamps and dies from Neat and Tangled. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments section below, and head on over to my blog where you can get more information on this card, including still pictures and products used. If you enjoyed this video, here's another one you might enjoy featuring Neat and Tangled products. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can find me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as my blog. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.